Well, many of you have been stepping up, collecting donations, sending supplies, showing support for those impacted by Helene. Not everyone, though, has great intentions. Scammers are using this tragedy to write bogus checks, all to get money. So here with us today is Michelle Shanks from Summit Credit Union. We're going to talk about how to spot fake checks, what you should do to protect your account, not just with donations and things of that nature, but maybe you're selling something or maybe you're buying something. And so we want to make sure that your money is protected. We're also taking your money related questions. Just text them to the number on the screen, 336-379-5775. All right, so let's talk about this because I think to myself, people think that they're going to be able to spot a fake check just by looking at it.
That is not always the case. Some of them look really, really good, but probably the biggest thing that I would say is if you are not expecting a check, you may want to question something that comes in the mail. I always tell people you can't win the lottery if you never entered it. So if you get a lottery check, you may want to question that.
Mm-hmm. Or if you get a check that says, we know that you helped out with Hurricane Helene. Here's a little money from X, Y, or Z for saying thank you.
Yes, no, let's not do that. If you are questioning whether or not the organization is legitimate, go to that organization's website or contact them if they are local, contact them personally, but always trust your gut. If something doesn't feel right, it's a little suspicious. So go ahead and take a look at that. Like I said, go on their website, see if it is legitimate. I usually, unfortunately, I'm a little iffy about some things. I will actually go to the Secretary of State's website to see if a business is real.
Mm-hmm,
so
sure.
Yeah, do your due diligence.
Okay, so a lot of people would like maybe buy or sell something like on Facebook Marketplace or whatever it happens to be. You got a car for sale, you put the sign on it, someone says, yes, I'm going to give you a check for it. Someone might even say, I'll give you a cashier's check for it. Can a cashier's check be counterfeited?
It can be. So if your financial institution suggests that they put a hold on those funds until it clears, feel free to utilize that or go directly to wherever the check is drawn off of, that financial institution, to see if that check is real. I would always caution, hold on to your merchandise first before you give it away, because if those funds are not there or if it's counterfeit, you have not only lost your merchandise, but you are now out of those monies as well.
Okay, so let's kind of break that down a little bit. We had a situation a couple of weeks ago where a local woman was selling a car and she was selling it and the guy brought a cashier's check and she thought it was real and then found out that the cashier's check was not real. So you have a specific protection plan of what you should do if you're selling an item like that and someone gives you a check.
Yes, if it is a local financial institution, go with that person. You don't have to go in with them, but go with that person to that financial institution. If they have given you a check, go inside to try to cash that check. If you get to that teller line or to that automated teller and the check is not legitimate, you will know before you deposit anything into your own personal account.
Mm-hmm. And so some folks would say, well, you know, they bank with such and such that's not here.
Yes, especially if it is out of state. If you cannot physically go to that particular branch, I would suggest if you want to deposit that check into your account, go ahead, if you are able to, put a hold on those funds until they clear before you release that merchandise. Because if that check comes back 2 or 3 business days later and you find out that it is not legitimate or that person has insufficient funds, then once again you are out of merchandise as well as cash.
All right, so a lot of people would then say, I thought that the bank or the financial institution, when they cash the check, they're telling me that the check is good.
We are not. We are taking care of your financial request. It is not up to that financial institution to find out whether or not monies is in someone else's account, whether it is with that particular financial institution or not. That is, you're taking a chance on receiving that check and accepting it as good.
And if it turns out to not be good or turns out to be fake and you've used some of that money, then you will have to owe the bank that money.
Yes, you are responsible. The consumer is responsible for anything that they deposit into their account.
Which is why you really want to go to that other institution and make sure you cash it right then and there instead.
Exactly.
Okay, so Michelle is here to answer all kinds of financial institution related questions. So why is overdraft good or bad? What are some of the pros and cons of that? What is the big deal about getting a loan with a financial institution before you go buy a car, before you go buy a house and start looking at things? So we're going to talk about all those things plus your questions. 336-379-5775.